welcome to my kitchen. I am so happy and grateful that you are here with me today. Today we will be cooking dinner, and today for dinner we will be having chicken pot pie soup. Now today it is really cold outside and I'm feeling a little under the weather, so chicken pot pie soup sounds delicious to me, and it sounds like it'll make me feel a little bit better too. And it's just a little different spin from chicken noodle soup. You know, sometimes when you don't feel good, you have the same meals like chicken noodle soup, vegetable beef soup, and stuff like that. But this is just a little different and a little bit more fun. So we are going to try it today. Now, it is 3 hours before dinner time. And what I'm going to do first is I'm going to prep my meat. Now, for meat today, I have 2 chicken breasts. And I have rinsed them with cold water, and I also patted them dry with a paper towel. And what I'm going to do is I am going to place them into my crock pot. With a little bit of space in between each other. And I am just going to put the lid on my crock pot. And I'm going to seal it shut. I'm going to set the timer for 3 hours on high so that my chicken can cook thoroughly before it is time to make my soup. For 2.5 hours, and it has about 30 minutes left. So now I'm going to go ahead and prep my produce. And I love this part. I know it can be a little time consuming, but I just love it. So for produce, what you will need is 1 sweet onion, 2 cloves of garlic. The recipe actually only calls for 1, but I like extra garlic, so we are gonna go in for 2. You'll also need 4 stalks of celery and 6 carrots. Okay, y'all, now it is time to make our soup. Now, while I was away, I shredded my chicken, but now I have all of my ingredients out and ready, and I have my soup pan. I'm going to turn the stove on to medium heat. I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil in the bottom of my pan. Let it heat up for just a moment. All right, y'all. Now I am going to take my onion, celery, carrots, and garlic and cook for about 5 minutes. Just want to saute them. And get them a little soft before we cook our soup. Y'all, so my vegetables have been sauteing for 5 minutes now. Now I am going to take my 3 tablespoons of butter. I have salted butter today. And I'm going to let that melt on our vegetables. Is completely melted, so now I can add in my flour. I'm going to very slowly sprinkle in my flour just so that it can cover all of the vegetables. Whoops! That was the opposite of what I said, wasn't it? All right, I'm going to stir that in. Mix it completely in, coating everything. The thing that we want to do is add in the chicken broth and half and half. Now the recipe calls for chicken stock, but on hand I only had chicken broth. I like to use the 30% less sodium kind. It looks like this. I like to give the bottle a good little shake. And then I'll measure it in my measuring cup. The recipe calls for 2 cups, but a lot of the reviews say to add more. So we'll start with 2, and then if we think we need more, we can add more later. All right, I'm gonna mix in my 2 cups chicken broth. Stir it in a little bit. Then I'm gonna add in 2 cups of half and half. Here's my half and half. I'm just gonna give it a little shake. And measure it out just like I did the chicken broth. Looks like I'm just gonna have a little under 2 cups, but that's okay. That's okay. We're just gonna roll with it. It's just under 2 cups, so it looks like it is a cup and a half, which that's all right, because we can just add maybe a half a cup more of chicken broth. It'll just be a little less creamy. Which is a-okay with me. I'm gonna turn my heat down a little bit too. Okay, now I'm gonna stir this in so everything is combined. And then I'm going to add my spices. So I'm gonna do it a little bit differently than the recipe says. I like salt, so I'm gonna add a little bit of kosher salt. And I'm gonna add a little bit of pepper. Beautiful. Okay, and then a little bit of thyme. And then literally a teeny pinch of nutmeg. We don't want a lot. Ooh, that's harder than you think. There we go. Literally a pinch. Okay, now I am going to let this come to a simmer. And then I think I will go ahead and add that half a cup of liquid so that we have enough liquid to solid ratio. There we go. And that was just the chicken broth since I was a half a cup short of half and half. So now that it is coming to a simmer, I can add my frozen corn and peas. So I'm just using my 2 cup measuring cup. You can see I have a cup of corn and a cup of peas. They are a little bit frozen together. Oops. All right, so I'm gonna add these in here. And I'm gonna turn the temperature down just a little bit. I'll scoop all that goodness in there so we can get all of it. And I am gonna add the rest of the peas. I almost use the whole bag. I'm gonna stir these guys in here. And then I'm going to add my chicken. All right, y'all, here's my chicken. I shredded it. Just going to add it to the soup. Trying not to make a mess. And stir that in there. Yummy, y'all. This looks good. Okay, now I'm gonna keep this on the burner for a little bit longer. I did get my Bisquick mix ready. So all I need now is to get a cookie sheet and to drop little dough balls on my cookie sheet so that I can make some biscuits to go perfectly with this meal. Yummy. Okay, y'all, I'm back. So I got my Bisquick mix ready. It's just 2 1/4 cups of the mix with 2/3 cups of milk. And I did put parchment paper on my baking sheet just because I think it makes for more even baking. And my oven is preheating to 450 degrees. Just gonna take a little spoonful and drop it on parchment paper to make my biscuits. I love biscuits, y'all. This is gonna be so good. Yummy. Can y'all see the biscuits? So far I have 3. Let's see, how many are we gonna get? I think we're gonna get 6. I'll probably spread them out a little bit. More than that. Yep, we're gonna get 6. Perfect. A little bit left over that I can add to this one. Oh yes, there we go. My biscuits are ready to bake. Okay, so my oven is preheated, so I can throw my biscuits in. They are just going to bake in the oven for around 8 minutes. All right, y'all, my chicken pot pie soup is done, and so are my biscuits. And this is what the final product looks like. It looks delicious. I can't wait to try it. Do you want to do a quick little taste test? Okay. I'm gonna try it just with a spoon first and then with the biscuit. Oh, it's super hot. It's super good. At the very last minute, I did add a little bit of Italian herb seasoning. It's very good, very flavorful. It's more on the hearty end of soups, I would say. But I think I like that I was short on half and half and had to add chicken broth instead. So maybe try it that way if you want to try something new. Of course, that was just an accident on my end, but I think it came out really good. And especially good with the biscuit. I love biscuit. So good. You guys should definitely try this recipe. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I'll see you soon.